Welcome back to another edition of the Artist Block Podcast. I am your host, Watricia Schuler, and today's guest is a stand-up comedian. He's an entrepreneur. He's a father. He's the founder of G.O.O.F Camp. So welcome to the show, Jiwan Kapp.
Hey, what's up? Like, I'm excited. Like, I feel like I done made it. So
Yes. Okay. Well, I appreciate you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
I want you to tell us about a young Jiwan Kapp and how you got, introduced to comedy and decided you want to be a comedian.
See, a young Jiwan Kapp was very reckless and ratchet. And
Okay.
yeah, I always knew I wanted to do comedy, but I didn't know, it would be in form of like stand up. But I was just naturally like funny. And shout out to like one of my neighbors, Miss Yvette Nixon. She used to always say, even when I was in high school, she said, "You gonna make money," because I do prank phone calls and all that, but you gonna make money making people laugh. And she had put that in my head, and I had left A&T, didn't finish college. I was like, I gotta do something. So I knew I wanted to do something, so I Googled like open mics, comedy open mics, and I started off at the Greensboro Comedy Zone in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually took the bus. I didn't tell my parents. Took my sister, and it was a lot of people there. We actually walked to the Comedy Zone from the bus stop because we got off early. And I walked in, and just to see like people from Greensboro actually doing comedy, I was like, oh shoot, I was amazed. I was like a fan.
Yeah.
And I went up there, and I was funny. I was funny, and they loved me, and it was just like a drug because every Thursday I used to go to every open mic, and like a month later, the time that I invited my parents out, because they only heard me doing stand up or whatever, thinking that I'm funny. I bombed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I bombed. I wanted. Yeah, it was terrible. I had bad dreams for like a week.
Okay.
Yeah. But shout out to my mama for still believing in me afterwards.
Yeah. How did you bounce back from that? Because I'm pretty sure that was a shot to the ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I was sure. I ain't called the suicide hotline, but I looked up the number because that's how bad I had felt for like a good minute. And I just went back the next week. I went back and I kept on going until I got funny.
Okay.
But that's how I knew. I was like, yo, you gotta stay with it.
Yeah.
Even that bombing or just the whole grind in general, you gotta stay with it. And that little piece right there, I've always kept. Stay with it.
Yeah. I think that is critical that you didn't just quit. Because a lot of times people, when stuff like that happens, they be like, oh, this ain't for me. I'm giving it up. But the fact that she was like, nah, I'm just going to take this. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to grow from it and keep moving forward. That's powerful.
And I tell people, all comedians, especially new comics, and they hadn't bombed yet, that's part of the process. Go ahead and get that over with because that's really going to bring you down.
Yeah.
Like, for real, because you think you funny, and then you get in front of some people and they don't think you funny.
Yeah.
You going to be ready to quit. Like, and get on Career Builder to look for a real job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you know you were funny though? Like before you got to the club, I know people were telling you, but what made you believe yourself that you were funny?
Honestly, since I've been little, like watching Comic View and stuff, watching stuff that I shouldn't been watching.
Comic View was the joint though.
Yeah,
Okay.
And I used to watch that. I wanted to do that, but even as a child, I would tell myself, nah, that's not like possible. I don't know why I put that in my head. But I used to do prank phone calls like all the time, and I used to do story time with Jiwan, like in middle school, high school, and just making people laugh. I got a fuel off that, and it made my day. But I still didn't put it in my head that like stand-up comedian, I would be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
I want to do comedy. That still wasn't even like a thought.
Yeah.
It was just, I naturally make people laugh. And that's what I really do. I don't even like even saying I'm a comedian because I'm more funny off stage than I am on stage.
Yeah.
So that's just really how it is.
I can see that. Because you have to put like a set together when
Yeah.
you're on stage compared to just being yourself.
Yeah.
Why do you want to make people laugh though? Like why does that bring you joy?
Well, that's part of my purpose. Like I found out what my purpose is giving opportunities and providing joy. And it's a natural, like I could transcend today, but I know that I did my job by putting a smile on somebody's face. Like that's something that like since I've been like probably like in high school, that was my credit. Like, all right, if I make somebody laugh, I done succeeded for the day. No matter if my homework not done or, I completed this job. If I made you laugh, I did my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so deep. And I imagine that a lot of comedians feel that way. Their purpose is to bring people joy. Because some people's purpose on earth is to like bring other things besides joy.
Yeah. So that honestly, even with like my current relationship, it's very rocky. This grown, being a parent, partnerships. But one thing that brings us together is laughing. So laughter always brings us back. So I think that's just a gift that I got. Hey, you talk about child support, let me make you laugh real quick.
Yeah, laughing does make people feel good though, and it's like you can just shift their mood or their emotion by making them laugh or smile. So
and finding the funny about it, like everything. Like the positive, because it's been a lot.
It's
been a lot, but I'm able to go back and laugh at it.
Yeah. So, you did your thing at the Comedy Zone. Well, not Comedy Zone. Was it Comedy Zone? It was Comedy Zone. And you were continuously going to open mics to perfect your craft. You had your little moment where you had to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
You bounced back. It kept going. How did you know, like, okay, because I feel like it's one thing for something to be your passion. It's another thing for you, like, to pursue a career at it. You know what I'm saying? How did you know, like, this was beyond a passion? This is something I'm really supposed to do and make money from doing it? You know what I mean?
Honestly, I started when I was 20. So I'm just when you in college, you get a lot of people come out and support, especially when you start something new. I started to see like so many people come, but it wasn't, my wallet was still like kind of empty type. So I was like, I want to do my own shows. I wanted to do, shout out to B. Chico Bean, Darren Brandon, I was something been drinking, because at the time they had the Freestyle Funny crew. So I was like, I want to do that, because I watched a group of people just elevate. I wanted to start up from the ground up with people, make money, and pay my bills like that. It didn't happen that way. At the
I'm gonna let you keep going. I want to know how it happened. But keep going with what you say now.
Yeah, because I was still working a 9 to 5, but I believed in just the brand itself before it was an actual brand. But I believed in producing my own show, so I take my checks, my whole check, and I put it into like my first show, my first comedy show. And that's how G.O.O.F Camp came about. But I started to make money. I started to see like thousands of dollars, like low key, just off shows of me just renting out the actual venue and me pocketing that money and paying everybody their worth.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Oh, I was about to say I still wasn't even making no money at the time though.
Yeah, and that's real with the entrepreneur journey. We'll get back to that. But was that the first time of you making money? Was you doing your own show, or did you get paid to just come as yourself as a comedian to do a show?
Yeah, nah, I paid myself first.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so and it felt good too.
Yeah,
but I got spoiled though that way though too.
Why'd you get spoiled?
Cause I'm making all this money and all this, but when I go to another show or whatever, I'm thinking it's supposed to be. Honestly, I wouldn't say myself was spoiled, but the other comedians were kind of spoiled because they thought we're supposed to be getting this bit money.
Yeah.
But at that time, we was only doing our shows. We really wasn't. I could say for myself, I wouldn't put in the time in perfecting the craft because I was so business minded. I was so all about putting in the footwork, getting these tickets sold before like social media was even big. I was in your face. That's how I have like 250 to 300 people at a show. And was I funny? Nah, but they was gonna laugh at me because these are people that I know.
Right.
So yeah.
That's deep for you to say that you were more focused on the business than you were on your craft. And you were becoming successful at your business to a certain degree, but your skill set was lacking. Yeah. What made you become conscious of that and shift your mindset towards becoming a scholar of your craft?
Well, I'm going to start off and say that with Greensboro at the time, I created G.O.O.F Camp because I felt like I wasn't getting the opportunities, and comedy wasn't being represented how it should be. The funny just wasn't there. So I went to Charlotte. I moved to Charlotte, quit my job, and I said I'm about to take my career like serious. It was like my 5th year doing comedy. So in 2015, quit and went to Charlotte, and that's when the grind was like real.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really eating. Like how I got paid was free drinks and chicken wings.
Okay.
And I ended up being, which I'm his feature now, but my mentor, Nick Lewis, he's been on like BT Comedy View, Def Jam Comedy. He's been doing comedy for 28 years. Shout out to Nick Lewis. But I was his driver. So I would just, stage time. That was like how, I perfected my craft. He put me in these like the chitlin circuit.
Yeah.
The ratchet rooms, the rooms that ain't nobody come to see you type.
Yeah.
Like, you not funny. He told me I had to be black people famous before I be white people rich. So that was part of the game. But those rooms made me who I am today.
Yeah.
So it bought out the funny. Now them was some real bombs. I thought I had bombed in Greensboro, but you ain't bombed when black people just start talking and ready to fight you because you not funny.
Yeah.
So shout out to that. Shout out to experience. But that's how I knew I wanted to take the craft serious because I wasn't producing my own shows at the time, so I could focus strictly on being a funny comedian.
Gotcha. When did you know that you were funny? Like, when did you win that crowd over? Do you remember like that night?
I went Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Okay, tell me about that experience.
I had went there prior, which I'm trying to get that video taken off YouTube.
Okay. Why, is it crazy?
Yeah, it was just I felt like I bombed.
Okay.
But I went there and I seen like this was my first type of like black urban crowd. And the first time I went, Nick told me, he said, "You've been hanging around those white comedians," because how I was positioning jokes and how I was, talking kind of. So he taught me about rhythm, timing, facial expression. And I applied that the second time I went to Orangeburg, South Carolina. And like one of the toughest rooms that I low-key was scared of, I'm over here making them laugh and they ready to take pictures with me at the end of the show. It wasn't a paid show. I got paid off, of course, free drinks and chicken wings, but I got a lot of drinks that night and a lot of food, so that's how I knew I was funny. So I accepted that as my payment, and it was a win for me though. A big win.
I think that's important in terms of like the artpreneur's journey. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of times in the beginning, people just automatically assume or expect to get compensated financially. But you haven't took time to learn your skill.
Exactly.
You are not, good at it to a certain degree. So I feel like you have to humble yourself in the beginning. And they were paying you in chicken wings and drinks, but really you were getting this. What you were getting was knowledge and experience.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I loved, I would say, being Nick Lewis driver when I first got to Charlotte because I was just soaking up game. Years worth of game. And I didn't mind at the time. My car payment was late. My rent was late, but I felt like I had $1 million every time I got in the car and every time I was able to opportunity to hit a stage. Like he called me right now and say, "Hey, we about to go to Baltimore. Hey, I'm about to go. I'm ready." Because I'm still a comedian at heart. So I love the stage. You wouldn't have to pay me to get on stage.
You talked a lot about the different techniques because you don't think about, like, as a comedian you have to have like techniques to do it and create your set. So talk to me about that. You said he was telling stuff like timing and your facial expressions. And
so the funny part about it is, for instance, like Orangeburg, South Carolina, the same jokes that they didn't laugh at the first time, I said them again, but I said them different. It's really about like how you put emphasis in saying a sentence. Like for instance, my hairline on life support, but my facial expression, my hairline on life support, and I'm acting it out. And I may pause before I get to my punchline. Like a cliffhanger. Keep them. Don't let them know what you about to say.
Gotcha.
but just learning that and just adding, just tweaking like the same material, it makes a difference. And I found that out. I was like, okay. Once I start listening to him, and again, removing your ego, thinking that, nah, I'm funny, I ain't gotta listen. He old school. This is what they want to hear.
Yeah.
But taking in that knowledge and applying it, it makes a total difference.
That makes a lot of sense, because I'm thinking like, a lot of comedians that blow up become actors. You know what I'm saying? So it sounds like you have similar skill sets.
Yeah.
And that's why they can easily transition into acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Do you do a lot of like improv, or are you all like you writing your set completely out in the beginning?
What's funny? I tell people that I would be a beast if I write my material, but I don't. I've never, because anytime that I when I used to write, when I started off, I was bombing because I was wanting to remember everything word for word. So if I miss, even though you don't know what I'm saying, but I know I messed up, I feel like, it messed up the whole flow of things. So now I got like bullet points of topics that I'm gonna talk about, and I just freestyle.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I got
because it's natural. Like I like being naturally funny.
Yeah,
but I would say if I was a writer, I could create that same experience over and over and over. Because sometimes I don't get that same wow like I did the first time, because I probably said it differently.
You gotcha.
So
do a lot of comedians, I guess, when they get to the place where they're making like specials and stuff, do they memorize, or do they like have bullet points like you, or it just depends on who they are?
Honestly, yeah, memory.
Okay.
Some people do write. I know writers that write. Shout out to Austin Cook, because he's an amazing writer. And honestly, that's where I strive to want to write like him.
Okay.
But I memorize, like I got bullet points, but I memorize everything.
Gotcha.
So anytime that I do get on stage, I always ask myself, what are you about to say? Because I never know.
Okay.
So it's like the first thing that I'm going to say, I just flow from there.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, my transition game is, I'm a beast at transitioning from topic to topic. So.
Yeah. What is the transition like? What do you mean by that?
So,
and I was gonna say too, are you feeling the energy of the crowd, of the room, and that's why you're doing it that way?
Yeah. But the mindset that I had beforehand, I let the crowd's energy dictate me. So I had to start telling myself, I set the energy in the room.
I got you. I got you.
Because sometimes, depending on where you at, they just looking for you not to be funny. So if you taking that type of energy, you're not gonna be funny.
Yeah.
So once I tell myself I set the energy in the room, I'm in control of the room. I just let it flow from there, because I already know whatever you're gonna say is gonna be funny.
Gotcha.
So if I'm talking about not having a job, I'm a transition on, relationships, not having a job and being in a relationship, and then I'm gonna transition on being in a relationship and paying bills. Then I'm gonna.
I got you. Yeah. I got you. Like you connecting the next joke to the first joke. I got you. That makes sense, because relationships and jobs.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I got something. I never know. Like sometimes I mix up the order. Like I just did a show in Charlotte after, it's been a minute. Like my first show back in like almost a year. And I didn't know what I was going to say, but I knew whatever I started off with, I'm going to end off on this one.
Yeah.
Point A to all the way to Z.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess it's kind of like a talent.
Okay. So because you were saying earlier you were doing your shows, but you was focusing on the business, and you weren't taking time to focus on your skills. Then you focused on your skills and you got good. How did your business switch once you were more confident in your skill set?
So when I start getting funny in Charlotte, I started to use the same blueprint from Greensboro, starting off G.O.O.F Camp, and I started applying it to Charlotte, like finding venues, doing like G.O.O.F Camp shows. So from there, probably like 2016, I probably had like 9 to 10 venues from Charlotte. Before then, 2015, we had Buffalo, New York. So we had Charlotte, Buffalo, New York, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, Conqueror. So that was my own chitlin circuit.
Okay.
And that's how I was able to pay comedians their worth. I book them for like a week, and you know, you getting paid. We got your room. Sometimes they'll stay at my crib if it's somewhere locally. But I'm taking everything out my room and I'm making it, you know, for you. Especially if I had like female comedians. I always make everybody feel comfortable. But I got paid by paying other people their worth because it was a good feeling because you funny. And I want to be the first one to pay you your worth type.
Yeah.
Because that's what G.O.O.F Camp is, giving others opportunities first. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
When did you start making money though? Because let me pause on that. The entrepreneurship journey is real.
Yeah.
Number one, I want to say that.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, you're not making money.
No.
And I think that people get caught up in this fantasy of whatever they're seeing on television or media that, oh, I'm just going to be an entrepreneur. I'm just going to quit my job and everything's going to be okay. Like, no, when you do that, and some people have to continue to work while they're doing it, but you still have to take care of yourself and support yourself. And the money may not be coming from your job, you know what I'm saying? Like from your craft or whatever. So I think it's real, and I want people to know that it don't just come like that. It don't happen overnight. It takes time to build it up and get that money. You know what I mean?
When I first started making money, because I said a prayer, and that's why I tell people, be careful what you pray for. But I always said that I want to be able to pay my bills doing comedy, just comedy. And it was a situation in 2017. I found myself, I was working a job, ended up losing my job, and I got into some legal trouble where, and this is the first time I'm even talking about it, but I got in legal trouble where it was like I had a pending felony on my record. So I couldn't even get a job, you know, regular 9 to 5, go somewhere else. So I had no other choice but to be a comedian. And that's when I created the Have You Seen My Hairline tour. So it's so many symbolisms that people will go back and be like, this is why, you know, he did this or did that. But at that time I was stressed and I was losing my hairline.
I got you.
So I was like, I'm about to just go ahead, create an independent national tour and go around looking for my hairline, you know, just still, you know, making it funny. But from 2017 all the way to the end of the beginning of 2019, I was getting paid off my independent national tour.
Wow.
But it was really the grind because I had to call people and find like the local promoter, find just the local comedian sometimes. Just to create like a situation. Like I create like opportunities for myself as well. And that's really every day you just create. So it wasn't, you know, initially that tour wasn't set to be for so long. It was probably like a couple of weeks. Then I just kept on running it and running it and running it. And that's why I say be careful what you pray for, because honestly my bills were getting paid. The most money that I was making was when I didn't have a 9 to 5 like corporate job.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's inspiring.
Yeah. That's what I tell people. I tell people like, even with this, Embrace the Grind, this is like the last tour that I was on before COVID and everything hit. But I put it on this blue shirt because even though, you know, it looks like that I'm happy and all that, I was in prison, like right in front of people the whole time because on the inside, I was still carrying that shadow. And I'm still fighting that legal case. I will actually be on probation March 18th, 2021.
Congratulations.
Yeah, 4 years. People didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And so it's all about how you handle yourself, because honestly, I could have accepted that label of, you know, so-called felon and could have quit. But, you know, the next tour that I'm on is called Freedom Papers. Because, you know, being in that position, it was like, I want my freedom papers. It's a whole new meaning now. Yeah. Which low-key I got because I learned the system and I learned how to break away from the system. Because I could have got caught up in that system and I wouldn't be sitting here with you.
Right.
But, yeah, I've been living my best life. Honestly, technically in jail the last 4 years, though.
Wow.
Because my soul been free.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's deep, man.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, you are putting your own shows together because you're saying certain things and you're hitting at it. Like, what's the process for you to put a show together, especially in a different city that's not your hometown? Like, that needs to be applauded.
Yeah. That's what, honestly, I go back and I look at that and I be like, yo, every show I sit back and I'm like, yo, you did this.
Yeah.
You know, for one, a team, having the right team. Even when I didn't have a team, I was like, the brand still gotta, still gotta eat.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm like an artist when it comes to like shows. So, I'm looking at the comedians who I want to book. I'm not just booking any comedians. I want, I wanted to open up a certain way and I wanted to end a certain way. And whoever I have as a headliner, I want to set them up right. So it's all about that. It's all about finding anybody. Like, they'll joke on me because I do a comedy show anywhere.
Yeah.
As long as, it's a building and some lights, I'll do a show anywhere. I actually did a show at the Sprint store.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a DJ. It's all about creating the experience, though.
Yeah.
So the people, the comedians is going to make the show. And then, having, your ticket girl, having like a hostess. I'm that like deep.
Yeah.
And my accountant, he'll get mad because I'm spending so much money.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of times I wasn't making no money, but it was just, I was so invested in the vision and the experience. I really didn't care about like making the money part, even though, sustaining the business, I needed to care.
Right.
But it's all about just creating that moment.
Yeah.
When producing.
So how do you know what venues to go to? How do you know what promoters to get? Like, are you like researching? How do you know that?
Honestly, yeah, networking. I like to say I got a multi-million-dollar network that I always tap into. I always tap into that, so I find like whoever the popping comedian is, or even a host in the city. I'm going to, for one, just target your grassroots following, and then I'm going to bring in, a notable headliner that's going to be able to draw some people. And then after that, I'm putting in the footwork. Because Nick Lewis, again, being around him, he still has that old school approach. So he believes in going to your local barbershop, going to your local radio station, and, putting it out like that. And I apply that same blueprint to my shows.
Yeah.
And really just getting in front of people's faces. Cause I tell people we can rely on social media, but not.
Yeah.
Like, I like to be in your face, and I like to just put in that footwork.
Yeah.
Still. So now have all the shows packed? No. But it's part of the process.
Yeah.
I started, at the beginning I'd be like, why didn't such and such come? But when I still got 10 people that showed up and bought a ticket, it's about the people who showed up. It's not even about the people who not here. So if you're not here, you're not meant to be here, and you're not meant to get this funny.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm still able to pay the comedians or whatever, it's been times where I'm expecting show money to pay the comedians and it didn't happen, but I'm still a real producer at heart. So I'm gonna go to my bank account and I'm gonna get out my money, whatever was agreed on, I'm gonna pay. That's what a lot of producers and people who do shows, they need to know that. Yeah. Because some people be like, the show ain't do well. What they got to do with me? I done came from Greensboro or Charlotte. Like, they ain't got nothing to do with me. You still, I need my money. So,
right.
Let's go to the local ATM. For real, because that's what I would do. Because I put myself in their shoes as well. So, but you got to know it's part of the game. So.
Yeah, it is part of the game, and that's real. I think that when you're in the entertainment industry, which is what you're in, and what we do, some shows are packed, some shows are not. But you still have to pay people because you already made an agreement to do that. And I think that's honorable. Yeah. Because some people don't. Like, they would straight up, like, not pay you. Like, and not even care.
That's happened to me a lot of times, though, too. That's when I learned, like, oh, shoot, I'm really a comedian.
Yeah.
I done went all the way, sometimes Florida, sometimes. Our promoter thought he wasn't going to pay me. Yeah. But we had to go to his ATM. Because I was like, bruh, I'm sleeping at the airport at this time, though, too. This was, like, 2017. I would go to a show, not book a hotel because I don't want to, like, I need all my money. Go back to the hotel. Go back to the airport, go to sleep until my flights in the morning, and literally go pay my rent first time I get back in the city. Yeah. And then go to sleep.
Yeah, that's real, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's real life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you really want it, like, how bad do you want it? That's why I ask myself every day. Like, because honestly, I could accept, like, ain't no shows locally, ain't nobody doing comedy. They still want this bill paid, and I could have just sat there, Indian style, just waiting for somebody to call me. But nah, I feel like that's one thing too. I never wait. I would never wait on a phone call.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to make the phone call.
Right. You're going to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have that. You have to have that internal drive as an entrepreneur or entrepreneur. Or if you don't, this is not for you.
Yeah,
like,
it's not.
This game is not for the faint of hearts.
Yeah.
You got to be strong to be in this industry. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're not only fighting against all of the, the learning curve of learning how to be an entrepreneur, but you're also fighting against the stereotype that artists don't make money.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Yeah. And that's another reason people don't want to pay you. Because they just thinking, I don't know, they don't appreciate the gift, I guess. You know what I mean?
Think, oh, you just doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing it, but I'm not just doing this.
Right.
I'm here to make money too.
Right.
And that's why I like to tell people, don't wait on the machine. You are the machine. So that's why I always tell myself.
Yeah.
I've said no to networks and been okay with it. And even though I only had $16 and it's more money, on that piece of paper, but what else is on that piece of paper? A lot of people don't read that. And that piece of paper don't say, Jiwan Kapp being the machine and I can't get with it.
Right.
So I can confidently walk out of any room because I signed the biggest contract with myself. So once you do that,
yeah,
like you already know what's coming.
Yeah.
So you just gotta wait for it. Just continue to walk towards it.
Yeah, that reminds me of the thing with Master P. His story, how he got offered $1 million, I think, from Interscope, and he walked away from it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of people don't like. A lot of people like I wouldn't do that, but a comedian out of Atlanta, Zoo Man, he always reminded me, the more money that's on that contract, the more control they got over you. So never take all the money.
Yeah.
Take the least contract, and that's exactly what he did. So I always take that to heed though too. But 2021 we signed a big contract, so I'm gonna go ahead and speak that.
Yeah, we speak it to existence. I touch and agree.
Yeah.
So I want to sign some big contracts too.
Yeah, absolutely. For real.
Yeah. Who are the comedians who inspired you?
I'll say Chico Bean. For like day one, he's always been like a mentor. Before he even got on Wildin' Out, Nick Lewis, Anthony Crawford, Ryan Davis, and these are like all local people. Cause that's who really inspired me. And before I seen them, Paul Mooney, Dick Gregory, Ricky Smiley. Yeah, so cause I grew up like listening to the prank phone calls. Roy Wood Jr.
Yeah.
But like the local comedians, that's who like inspired me. Like Empston Hughes, funny. Austin Cook again. There's so many.
Yeah.
So, Paris Sachet though too. She's out of Baltimore, DC, but funny.
Yeah. It's so interesting because you mentioned Paul Mooney and Dick Gregory. They're comedians, but they are like rooted in like, I guess, real political stuff with their comedy.
Yeah.
You don't strike me as the type of guy.
Yeah, that's why I say you gotta know. I take a High John the Conqueror approach, and I tell people,
say that again.
High John the Conqueror.
Okay, what's that?
He's a slave that I feel like that we all should have learned about. Harriet Tubman as well. We learned about Harriet Tubman, but they did not tell the people about High John. High John was a slave that, just a skinny, you wouldn't expect anything from him, but he was freeing the slaves. And he'll tell, he'll go in the shacks and tell the slaves, put on your best clothes because we about to leave. And all the slaves, we ain't got nothing to wear. And master gonna know that, we gone. And he said, if you give the illusion to your master that you still there, he will never know that you gone. And by the time that he does know that you gone, you far, far away. So I try to take like a High John approach and not be so loud hollering at people, but infiltrate within. So I go within like the group, and a lot of people may not see me, but you're gonna hear me because I dropped that. I guess that nugget with certain people, especially when you're in a position that I'm not in.
Yeah.
So
that's deep, man.
Yeah,
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Wow. So it sounds like, I mean, I know you're a comedian at heart,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like your first love, but it sounds like you are a businessman who's a comedian as opposed to a comedian who's a businessman.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Do you feel that way? And
Yeah.
is that intentional? Like, is that your approach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for the simple fact, because I do comedy. Comedy is just like a hobby. I naturally just make people laugh, but the business part, I'm very serious about the brand. I'm very serious about, just the business part of everything. That's one thing people know about me. You could do this or do that, but when it comes to the business, yeah, something may happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, like I learned the business first, starting off when I first started, and I just kept it as that, kept that knowledge.
Yeah.
And I started to see I attracted more people who per se, I'm kind of looking up at, and I'm putting them in certain positions. That's why I like to call myself the gate opener, because I open up certain gates for people. Now, I can't promise you, what's gonna happen, but I can open up this gate and let you, be free.
Right. You can get in that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the future for G.O.O.F Camp, and where do you foresee yourself?
G.O.O.F Camp. It's definitely a multi-million-dollar business. I do see us, I guess, transitioning to more of an artist development type of situation.
Comedians or just in general?
Just in general.
Okay.
Because it's really, G.O.O.F Camp has bought out like photographers who's got paid, PR people who's got paid. It's just really giving others opportunities first and just doing it with a team. No matter what if you're the best fry cooker, I'm gonna have you cooking fries at the show.
Gotcha.
And you're gonna be part of G.O.O.F Camp.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we are transitioning into more of that. I'm personally like growing my personal brand, NoCap Comedy, KKK, because we're gonna lynch you with the truth. Yeah. So really learning more and just I guess growing more as the comedian, and just growing that brand and being more vocal.
Okay.
Transparency is gonna be very key this year.
Gotcha.
So being very transparent with my story, showing people. A lot of people see like the accolades, but I want to show people, during this time though, I was doing this, I was doing that, sleeping in Greyhound stations. Is the hardest part was getting to the shows. That's why I tell people. That's why I be so funny at the shows, because you don't even know what I went through to even get here.
Yeah.
But that's how much I love like the grind and just the passion is there.
Yeah.
Now being a father, it's just like, all right, that's a whole new love, but it's giving me so much fuel that I never had before.
Yeah.
So that's big energy.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to utilize it how it should be utilized.
Yeah.
Responsibly.
Do you want to get into acting? Do what I'm not gonna say what the other comedians, but the comedians who came before you, like they get their own shows, they start doing movies. Yeah.
I'm actually in a movie. Well, we're shooting it. I want to say this spring, but I've been getting scripts. Like I keep on telling people I'm gonna have my breakout role in somebody movie this year. And the funny part is, every time that somebody offered me a script, they want me to be myself. So they get me to play myself.
Yeah.
And me and Nick Lewis, we co-wrote a web series called Say Uncle.
Okay.
Where I played his nephew, he played my uncle who gave me bad advice. And we actually shot that in 3 different states, in Florida, South Carolina, and North Carolina. But we just picked up that series on Us Scott Networks.
Okay.
Which is a black-owned type of Netflix situation.
Nice.
Yeah. So y'all be looking out for that though too.
Okay.
So y'all definitely gonna see more of me.
Yeah.
Just trying to add on to the portfolio.
Yeah. You're doing it, man.
Yeah, appreciate
you are.
it. Appreciate
you really
it.
are. I've learned so much about you from this conversation today.
Yeah.
So you've been given a lot of game, but an important part of the show is to give people 5 practical steps to enter into this game of being a professional comedian.
Okay.
So tell the people about the 5 steps.
All right. So your 5 steps, for one, go to these open mics. All right. you're never too good for open mic. That's what a lot of people think. They get to a certain status to their career where they're too good to go to open mic. Stay on the stage. All right, stay on the stage. For 2, start hitting up promoters. When you see like these other comedians like putting flyers and stuff online, look for that number. All right, call that number and find out who the promoter is and start getting yourself booked. 3 is once you start getting a certain amount of shows, you have your own tour. Okay. So a lot of people waiting to get on like a Wild 'N Out tour. Go ahead and create your own tour. So at least book you 5 shows where you got a mini tour. 4, create your merchandise, create a product, create something that people is gonna be able to purchase for you, because you want to create MSI, multiple streams of income. So you want to get paid for one off the show. Do you want to get paid off your merchandise? Then after that, creating the product, then sell the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much, the brand is you. So repeat the steps 2 to 4 all over again.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
like
the blueprint.
That is a blueprint.
That's what I've been utilizing. Like every year I utilize that.
Yeah.
So I already got 17 shows already booked for the Freedom Papers tour. And I'm excited about this tour because, again, I get to be more transparent. I get to talk about me being in jail. I get to talk about me getting arrested. Like random, like honestly, you wouldn't believe it. That's why I'm doing a comedy special. Probably I want to shoot for fall, my 31st birthday, but I'm titling it Paper Thugs.
Okay.
Because on paper I look like a thug, but in actuality it don't be that.
No, you're far from a thug.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Quote unquote.
Yeah. So this making light of the actual situation of my silent storm, because honestly it was a silent storm. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. People should be looking for it. I want to see if I got my I got another product that I'm putting them on NoCap. My NoCap right here.
Nice.
Yeah. So bottle openers, but it's also gonna have information on it. It's a USB.
That is dope.
Yeah. So you
that
really
is
get
so dope.
The stories that's gonna be on here, they're gonna be like, he Cap, or you really gonna know Cap.
Yeah.
After listening to it. So,
yeah. And I like the cleverness, NoCap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's clever. Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a different series on them.
Okay.
I want to do like a blue pill, red pill approach on the red ones.
Yeah.
We're gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
If you're ready.
Yeah.
But the blue ones, I got something for you though too.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah. I love it. That's smart and clever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
So the goal is to have 1,000 of these sold within like the next 4 months on the tour.
Yeah. You already have some made for people to sell. How can they get them?
Right now, NoCap.com should be up by the time this is released. But I'm gonna have them sold on the website and at my shows.
Okay. How much you selling them for?
$30.30.
Okay.
Yeah, represent my I just turned 30.
Okay.
So I turned 30 doing the 10 years of comedy. And it's the information on it is gonna be very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got my audio healing experience on here.
Yeah. And it's a multifunctional product. Like you can use it as a bottle opener, and you can store other information there because
absolutely.
it's a USB.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
it
smart,
holds
man.
10 gigabytes, so it's a lot of information that can be held on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm also looking to partner up with like a brand who has like I can open this up with. Period. So
yeah.
Looking for some brand ambassador opportunities with this as well.
That is so smart.
Yeah.
I feel so inspired.
Oh,
I got to go
that.
figure out me a product
that's
like that is multifunctional.
That's what it is. As long as I have this on, it's like my a book.
Yeah.
So it's a digital book that I'm pretty much selling to people.
I love it. I love it. So you've given your curriculum for your course, like by NoCap 101. That's the name of your curriculum.
Yeah.
What's the prerequisite for people to come to your class? They come to your class tomorrow. But what they got to do tonight as homework before they come to your class?
All right. So CAP stands for Keep Applying Peer Pressure. So you gotta show up, not half stepping. For one, all right. Don't half step. So let's say if you want to work with me, the homework assignment that I would give you is, for one, find out what your purpose is and what you want to convey on stage. Because a lot of people try to be somebody else, and it ain't gonna work. Because longevity is key. That's what people gotta realize as well. So understand what your purpose is, understand what you want to convey on stage, and look up 3 open mics that you can hit. Because a lot of people, I'm not gonna do it for you. You know. And you get up on that stage, and no matter if you make them laugh or you know they boo you, you getting that experience, and you getting that experience of that the stage. Continue to hit the stage until you get it right. So look up 3 open mics and hit up the 3 open mics, and then hit me up. And then we're gonna be ready to work.
Okay.
Keep
I
applying
love that.
peer pressure.
And when you said that about figuring out what type of comedian you are, because it is different types of comedians. I mean, I feel like people unconsciously know it, but I think that consciously you just always group them together. But it is comedians like, you know, a Dick Gregory. I mean, yes, it was Dick Gregory and a Paul Mooney, who are like political, or even like a Cat Williams. Versus like a Kevin Hart. It's like they're both funny and comedians, but they have 2 different styles and approaches. You know what I mean? Because I love Cat Williams.
Yeah, me too.
I love Cat Williams. He's so funny. And Dave Chappelle. Those are my 2 favorite of all time. But I haven't studied it, you know, because of course, like you hear about like the Eddie Murphy Raw, but I haven't seen it because, you know, by the time I was coming of age, I was born in the 80s, but, you know, he was like a movie star. So it wasn't like I knew him as the comedian compared to people who were older than me who did actually know him as a comedian. You know what I mean?
I actually went back in the last couple of years, finally seen Raw. Because I felt like I should.
How was
watch
it?
It was good.
And
it was like I feel like during that time, very controversial.
I could imagine.
So I'm like, okay, he pressing the envelope. But I want to know who's gonna be that black comedian this year, because you know they only let, if you ever know like how Hollywood works, you get like 2 or 3 black comedians that they give. But again, when you are your own machine, you ain't gotta worry. You gotta
worry about that. That's so true. That's so true. But you're also right, because I do remember like, you know, Martin had his run, and then I was gonna say Jamie Foxx, but Jamie Foxx started out in comedy, but then he just became a movie star. So that was like a little different for him. You know. But then Dave Chappelle had his run, Cat Williams had his run, Kevin Hart. You know, I think Tiffany Haddish had a little run. She's still in it, but you know, So I agree with that. Steve Harvey. Remember he had his run, and he's still doing his thing. I mean, Steve Harvey's the man. He's transitioned like to a new level.
Mogul status.
Oh, so
I feel like right now who has everybody's attention is the 85 South show, like DC Young Fly, Chico Bean, Carlos Miller. And they're doing, like, honestly, just watching them improv and create, like, that's, I was saying that before they even like started like doing the 85 South show. Because that's what, like, that's really what it's about, being able to do it with a group. Because that's more than one mind together. That's a machine. So.
You're right. Think about that. Well, that's all I have for you today. I really enjoyed you being on the show.
I'm just, like, honestly, I was happy about it. I actually got up at 6 this morning because I already knew I had to before the baby got up. So I'm definitely excited about this, and it's an honor. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Any last words of advice you would like to give to people to motivate them and keep them going?
Don't give up. Am I looking at this camera?
Yeah.
Don't give up no matter what situation it is. Take time to understand what you're supposed to learn from it. And again, keep applying peer pressure. And don't pay no mind to the naysayers. Because honestly, I could have stopped 10 years ago when the first person said, "Oh, he not funny. Why he doing comedy?" So just stay headstrong and keep your mind. Just understand your inner is always gonna reflect your external. So get your understand what you're supposed to understand again.
I love how you keep saying that, understand. Instead of understand.
Understand. Because that's why I tell people, people try to understand like my moves, but you got to understand yourself before you try to understand me, and you know what I do and the choices that I make. So understand. And
I'm telling people how they can contact you as well.
So NoCap Comedy on Instagram, KNOWKAPPKOMEDY. KKK, cause we lynching you with the truth. Then I got Kapp Cosmic Care, where you can get sage. I got notebooks that I'm selling. I'm selling my NoCaps, alkaline water. That's also on IG, as well as NoCap.com. So holla at me on there. And if you want to do some business, G.O.O.F Camp at gmail.com.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you again, brother, for
yes.
coming on the show.
Yes.
Looking forward to us doing more things together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We definitely bring comedy back to the artist block. So y'all look out for that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all again for tuning in to another episode of the Artist Block Podcast. I'm your host, Patricia Schuler. You can find me on social media at Patricia Schuler, and we'll catch y'all next time.